A new initiative system for DC20 and possibly any other tabletop roleplay game that you're playing. It is a zipper initiative. It is a group initiative, a team, a back and forth initiative to really get across that back and forth feel while not slowing the game down too much and also allowing people to go at the same time, really getting that teamwork across. So in DC20, if you're familiar with DC20's initiative, it's largely conceptually the same, but in 0.9.5, the next version of the game that's going to be releasing very, very soon, or maybe out right now, check the description. But this is the new initiative system of how initiative works. In general, the big picture view is you are still going to be having a initiative check right whenever things start off. And initiative checks now in DC20 is your combat mastery plus your agility. So it is agility based now for the big picture of attributes and where they are right now. I really think agility serves a good purpose there. Agility needed a little bit of love after the 0.9.5 changes. Check some of those videos out when it comes to armor and reworks and stuff. But you are going to be making an agility check per se, and that is going to be what check you're making. But you're going to be making it against an initiative DC. And depending on if your team wins or loses that check, you are going to be in an initiative order as far as your team going first or the bad enemy team going first. So it's players team versus the enemy team, and there's slots and they zipper back and forth. So one person goes, enemy goes, player goes, enemy goes, back and forth. Now, there's going to be absolutely some room for enemy monsters to group up and pair up together, players to be able to group up and pair up together. It's absolutely going to work that way. But I'm going to go through the big overall picture changes, especially if you're used to the current DC20 initiative. And also, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you should be able to understand how the initiative works just from this alone. So here we go. First of all, as soon as combat starts and the Dungeon Master says roll for initiative, you are going to have that roll for initiative moment, but your players are not rolling for initiative against the Dungeon Master's monsters who are also rolling for initiative. No. It is against the initiative DC. Before in DC20, this was 5 higher than the encounter DC. Now it just is the encounter DC. If you ask, what's an encounter DC? Well, here it is. This is the encounter DC. This is a straight hot off the press master document of DC20 0.9.5. This is your encounter DC table. An encounter DC, if you're not familiar with that in DC20, is a default DC for how hard stuff is to do during this combat encounter. I'm trying to climb up a tent to be able to reach and grab something. I'm trying to persuade an enemy to be able to do something. I'm trying to intimidate somebody to stop doing something. This is the DC. So in general, I usually have a very large D20. I set out, here it is. I set this big old D20 down on the table, and that's the encounter DC, an 18, a 13, whatever, right? And that's the DC. And this is the table that shows this is easy, normal, hard, all that kind of stuff, right? So the encounter DC is what your team, the PC team, is rolling against, right? So you have this chart, you can reference it and go up and down, and it set it however hard you want it to be. But the new change for DC20 is half of the team or more needs to beat the encounter DC to win. That's very different. It used to be just one. If one person wins, then everyone wins. Or yay, cool. And that feels bad because if one player through a year's worth of playtesting is when one player wins initiative, and you know this in other tabletop roleplay games too. Whenever one person wins initiative, and then the second person's like, "Oh yeah, I beat it too." You're like, "Oh, cool." Moving on. No one cares, right? That feels bad. I think it should be cool if multiple people win initiative. So there's also another change, but I'm going to get to that probably at the end because there's some really cool changes that are just on top, icing on the cake of all this. But I want to stay in line conceptually. So roll for initiative. Everyone makes an agility check rolling for initiative. Combat mastery plus agility. That's the formula. So the half of the team needs to beat the encounter DC to win. If you win, the PC team goes first. If you lose, the enemy team goes first. Simple as that. The big thing about this is it gets across the team vibe of initiative. Instead of just one person needing to do it, it's almost like a mini skill challenge where we need the team to be able to get half or more of successes or beat the encounter DC to win. Now, how this works is it is a slot system. And what the slot system means, and this is where the zipper initiative comes in whenever the turn orders come in, is there is a number of slots for both teams equal to the number of PCs. So if you have a 4-player group, then there's 4 slots. If you have a 5-player group, then there's 5 slots. And then that means there's 5 slots for the enemy, and then the zipper initiative happens. Simple as that, right? And we'll say 3 slots for the sake of this lovely hand example. If your team goes first, then your team goes first, then enemy you. But then if you lost, it would be like this. So it's really not that crazy of a difference as far as a complication goes. It is kind of a big deal though, because now there's one enemy going before every single other person would have gone. So the enemy gets to lead off and then go before you, whereas this would be the case otherwise. So you can see who wins. Here's an example. I have 5 enemies over here, and I have 5 good guys over here, and I'm going to show the zipper right here. So this is all 5. We're going to assume the PC's won initiative, right? Over half of them won, 3 of them won, and 2 of them lost, whatever. And this is what the zipper initiative would look like. So first person up and is going to be the PCs. Now, the cool thing about this is in 0.9.5, PCs get to choose who goes in that first slot. Anyone. It does not matter what your initiative that you rolled was, because we all know that there's a story at hand. Somebody's about to burst through. You're about to stage this an ambush. Someone's doing this. Somebody that started the actual, whatever the story and whatever things make sense, the players can choose who goes first, right? So done. Now, there is a way it's said in the rules where whoever rolled the highest can choose their slot, and there's a way that we can lay it out. But at the end of the day, y'all are choosing where you go in these slots. Absolutely. And game masters, we've always been choosing where your enemies go. And this is not determined and locked in right away. The only thing you need at the beginning is who goes in this spot. Who is in this exact initiative spot? That's the only thing that's decided on. Player goes. Me as the dungeon master, I have not chosen who goes here, 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 here. I don't know. So when this PC goes, I very heavily as a dungeon master am looking for what makes the most sense for me to choose next. Who's going to go? A lot of times I use a poke the bear philosophy in my head as a game master. So if player 1 goes up and hits enemy A, now I'm probably going to use enemy A next. It makes sense. You just went and hit them and they respond and they go back, you know? Or maybe I want to use the big villain, the big bad boss guy. And I want him to go first. Or maybe I want him to go last. Or maybe it's all up to you. And the players can react in the same way. Back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. Super freaking simple. But now, what if we have uneven numbers? What if you have uneven numbers? I'm going to take this guy off and I only have 4. I only have 4 bad guys. And also, so if I do have 4 bad guys, this could be how it looks, and that's absolutely fine. But let's say, and this actually works great if the PCs go first, right? And so I'm just going to be missing a slot, and that means they're going to fill in at the back there. But if let's say I go last, right, and the bad guys go first, cool. The bad guys are going to go first, and it goes back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, and it's fine. And at the end, 2 PCs go together. No big deal. So if you do have offset numbers of enemies and bad guys and whatever, that's fine. That's really not that big of a deal. But let's say I wanted a situation happen like this, where in fact I'll leave the slots. But let's say that I have 4 bad guys. I have 4 bad guys, and there's 5 player characters, and they're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and these are my 4 slots. Stay with me right here. I hope this Excel spreadsheet does this good. If I had 4 enemies, I might want to pair them in groups of 2, right? I might want to have these 2 go together and these 2 go together. I can absolutely do that as a dungeon master. I have that creative freedom if I want, right? So if I'm like, you know what? I want both enemies to go right here. I'm going to pair these up. It's 2 goblins and they have some cool combo move I want them to do together. Or it's one's going to lob something and the other one's going to shoot it and it's going to explode in the air. They're going to do something cool together, whatever you want to do, right? So these 2 can go together. And so I'm going to be like, yeah, sweet. These 2 are going right here, right? So these 2 bad guys are going in this slot. I'm gonna turn these slots gray for the sake of this example, right? So these bad guy slots, right? I can't even fix these. These bad guy slots are gonna be gray for the sake of this. So these 2 guys are going here. Now I'm gonna skip this one because I think it'd be a little bit of a jerk move as a dungeon master to jam him in there, and then that'd be a really like 1 back forth. So I'm probably gonna do this. Is how I would run this as a game master. It is completely in your purview as a game master to do this. I think it would be more fair and fun and balanced to do this. You see what I'm saying? So what that would look like is player 1 goes, then 2 bad guys go, then 2 PCs go, then 2 bad guys go, then 2 PCs go. Lovely. That's how I would run it personally myself. And you also could even stagger it like this. You could have 2 PCs go, 2 bad guys go, 2 PCs go, 2 bad guys go, and then the 5th player goes. You know what I'm saying? And that's how the rounds flow. So now that's uneven numbers. That's purposely pairing up groups together, however you want to organize it. Now, another cool note about this, though, is whenever things die, you can, as a game master, choose who goes where. So if I have my 4 bad guys over here, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, cool. This guy, player 1, goes and attacks a monster, and then I'm like, okay, that monster's for sure gonna go next. But he kills that monster. Okay, I'm not gonna have that monster go next. I'm gonna have this monster go there instead. You know. So the nice thing about this is you, as a game master, don't have to pre-choose the slots that your enemies go in. They can go in there as it makes sense tactically or role play wise to you. Absolutely. And then my favorite new rule to all of this, to solve the problem of what happens if everyone wins initiative. Why would you care about winning initiative once enough people have won the initiative? So if you win and succeed initiative yourself, you get an individual bonus, an individual inspiration for being so ready. The surge of adrenaline, you are ready for this combat. You get a D6 inspiration dice, only usable for the combat that you rolled it in whenever you succeed on initiative. So if you win initiative, you get a D6 inspiration dice you can use at any point in the combat. A D6 inspiration, you just roll the D20, add it to any D20 roll. Done. Super, super simple. And then there's also critical success and critical failure. So if you get a D20, a natural 20, you have advantage on 1 check or save during that first round of combat. And if you get a critical failure, you get the first attack against you has advantage. So it's the opposites, right? So critical success, you have 1 advantage on a check or save. Critical failure, the enemy has advantage on the first attack against you for that round, right? So very, very scary and very, very good on that part as well. So that is the new initiative system. I'm very excited for the changes. I'm very excited for the flow and how easy it is to do, how flexible it is for game masters. At the end of the day, it's going to be back and forth. There's a team moment at the beginning, right whenever combat starts. There's excitement because if you win, you get this D6 inspiration you give out, and you get right into the combat, and you go back and forth, and players can collaborate. And when they go, you can strategize as a game master of when you go. Love it. Love it. And if you love it, let me know. Check out 0.995 down in the comments. If it's out yet, it will be down in the comments on if it is or is not. Stay creative. Thanks to the box. Peace.